Okay, so here we are again. I am about to share my screen. So today we're looking at e-commerce and we are looking at this on the right slide. So we'll just go with this. So we had mentioned earlier that, well, you know, that the internet was from the 50s and 60s, and after the onset of the personal computer in the 80s, there was the onset of the World Wide Web in 1990, and that essentially that technology led to the possibility of electronic commerce, because without the web you could never, without the internet and the software of the web you could not have e-commerce. And around 1995 there was an increase in e-commerce, and in fact in the early 2000s there was such a belief that e-commerce would change. There was actually an internet bust where a lot of people invested a lot of money in e-commerce, which was sort of early days, and I guess a few companies like say Amazon did really well, but a lot of it was sort of like, should we call it hype? But at any rate, after the dot bubble burst, there definitely is a thriving e-commerce market. But we could say, and this is only a prediction, that the e-commerce revolution, if we call it that, it's still in its early stages. I mean, given that the web started in 1990 and e-commerce about 1995, that doesn't even make it, what is that? 05, 15, it's not 25 years old. It's relatively new in the context of the globe. E-commerce has been growing steadily to the point where it's going down, but it's been going steadily, more or less, over time. And this is a old graph, 2017, but it's still growing. And I don't know what the actual data is now, but I'm going to strongly suspect that given the pandemic, e-commerce has grown even more because of the restrictions people had in terms of movement. So in that context, we can think about e-commerce in terms of social e-commerce, mobile e-commerce, and local e-commerce. So originally, e-commerce was directly only websites, display ads, and a focus on how many people are actually seeing those ads. Now there's so much more things. So there's social networking sites, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, etc. And there is mobile e-commerce where people are having localized ads. And in this context, where people used to be focused on, guys, when you come into the class, why are people coming and disturbing the class? Who's unmuted? Somebody.
Oh, Miss, I'm so sorry. I just realized that.
Yeah, yes, right. So as I was saying, in the old days, like about 10, 15 years ago, people were really counting the amount of views. And now views don't matter because views don't mean that somebody buys. So now they're actually looking at conversations with the business and or engagement, because these are the things that tend to lead to new sales. So all of these are very important. I think this mostly makes common sense. I think, I'm not sure. So e-commerce is different, and then I've taken what I just said in research class, that the internet web is available anywhere. Let me just take a little, let me stop here for a second, because I just downloaded this. So today, because I was in, oh, I'm not sharing the screen anymore. So today, because I was in research class, and this, how do I do that? Right. I was in research class. I decided to download this because people had written in the research paper that almost everybody has connection to the internet. And so I decided this is a spreadsheet from the International Telecommunication Union. And it's showing you, it goes all the way up to 2019. So if we're looking, this is in numbers, I think this is hundreds of thousands. So like, this is about fixed telephone subscriptions across the world, or it's in millions, right? You know, so we all know that there's about 9 billion people in the world, which would be about 9,000 million. So if nothing here says 9,000, so you can see that, what is this one? So cellular telephone subscriptions globally is really high. It's like, it seems as if most of the world have a mobile cell phone subscription. But the reason I brought up this thing from the ITU is because of what people were telling me about internet. So maybe I should have asked the class, but see here, globally, mobile broadband subscriptions, total is 5.826, as in that's just over a half of the 9 billion. Whatever the exact percentage is, this is not 2/3 yet of the world who have mobile broadband prescription, and this one is broadband internet. The world, it's only it's just over 1 billion people. And look at the disparity between the developing country and developing countries. Whole lot less. This second number here is developed. Yeah. Oh, maybe the developing countries, maybe it's larger. I'm not even sure. But the reason why I brought this up in my class, and I spent time to actually find the stuff, is because people were saying that everybody, even households, to compare to look at this. Oh, they don't have the numbers. Or they don't actually have numbers in this thing. The reason I brought this up is because people were saying that everybody has individuals using the internet. Let's look at this. Individuals using the internet. 2019, 3.969. That's globally now. So here, us in Kingston, Jamaica, or St. Andrew, Jamaica, we're not typical. Because, I would hope 100% of UTech students are using the internet because most will get to class. But that's about a third of the world who have access to the internet. So when people are making these generalizations, so let me just go back to closing this and back to my current slideshows. So even though this says it's ubiquitous, it's only ubiquitous for people who have internet access, which still is less than 50% of people. So we need to be careful when we make these ubiquitous claims. Because like in Jamaica, there's a big digital divide between urban and rural areas. Right, anyway, but for what it is, for those who have internet access, it is ubiquitous, which means that it's everywhere for those people. And given that, those kind of persons, it's very easy to market. So you don't have to market exactly any particular location. Anywhere you can market. And so it's much easier for customers to shop, and generally they reduce shopping costs because basically the things can be delivered. And if it's some digital product like music or books, there's no shopping costs altogether, right? Some of the unique features of e-commerce is clearly there are no national boundaries, and as such, you can do e-commerce anywhere seamlessly, and the potential for millions of consumers and lots of businesses obviously tremendous. So in terms of the standards, one good thing is that there's a set technology standard, and even though they're disparate computer systems, they can compete with each other. Generally speaking, there's rather low market entry costs. Now, that low market entry cost doesn't apply to the people who don't have internet access. In Jamaica right now, I meet students who are having issues getting to class because they have internet access issues. Remember, all of these things are all caveats. We just need to remember the caveats. But in general, once we actually have the internet access and some kind of computer, then essentially it's really more a matter of having brilliant business ideas. Big market costs once those things are in place. And then clearly for the consumers, they can find many more businesses to buy from than in the past. So it also lowers the search costs for consumers to find suitable products. But even with this, there are challenges. I went to Portland, Jamaica earlier this month, and as I was trying to find a low cost what do you call this now? Let's call it bed and breakfast, guest house to stay for a couple of days. I had stayed at a hotel and then I wanted to go to a guest house. It was amazing, the limited amount of available of that information online. As it turned out, I got that information from asking people in person in Portland, because like this is really the best of the guest houses in the area I live, based on my perception of 4 guest houses. The best one was a gentleman who did not have a working cell phone. I don't mean a working smartphone. He didn't have a cell phone that worked for real. So a lady who was more sensitive that her place was worse. At least she both had phone working and she had access to BB&B and all the whole thing, and she was willing to give me a Jamaican discount because I didn't come through that. It was a whole range of options. But the point is, e-commerce only works when people actually go online and make their products and services available. So at the end of it, all of these is dependent on a number of things. So we're still in a real world where this doesn't apply to every single body. But despite that, generally speaking, we know e-commerce supports video, audio, text messages, and all of those can be done to lots of people. And if it's done well, things can go viral, and that can lead to really giving a message and consumer experience that can enhance your product or service. With e-commerce, there can be a lot of interaction with the users, and there's a possibility of not only dialogue with the consumers, but having the consumers help to figure out what the product should be like. So if you want to sell t-shirts, you could ask people to vote on what t-shirts are the most popular on anything. So whatever you're selling, whether it's a digital product or a physical product, the consumer can help to design and give comments on the products. And so given that, once stuff is online, we basically have a lot more information that people can access. And as such, when we're buying things in general, there's generally open information about prices, open information about real costs. And as such, even merchants who are buying to do business can engage in price discrimination. In fact, even myself, by a combination of online searching and getting information on the ground, I was able to engage in price discrimination. But that actually increases once you have the online information. It's certainly generally better than trying to rely on only getting people to give you information, especially if you're thinking about shopping for anything globally. So some of the unique features of e-commerce include the possibility of personalization and customization. These two words don't mean exactly the same thing. Customization is where you actually have a product that it's made differently for different sorts of people. Like, what would be a great example right now? I'm trying to think. Sorry, when I think of customization, I'm thinking of mass customization, like by a car company that you can order the exact maybe leather seating that you have, but you can do that online too. So any way in which the company allows people to generally select something that's just for them. Personalization is where the company knows it. Customization is where the customer decides what they want. Personalization is when the company decides to do something specifically for you based on past behavior. So there is modification messages or goods based on what suits the persons. So you can have personalized messages, which could be ads, but it could be anything. And the services and products are customized to the preferences of the consumers. So with social technology, there is the possibility of user content generation as well as social networking. And if that user content generation promotes a business, so like when I went to Great Huts in Portland and took pictures, and well, I didn't even put where I was, and then somebody asked me where it was, and then they told me thanks. By me generating the content, I'm essentially indirectly marketing the business, not just saying, oh, I was here and it was great. So there's so many ways in which social media and social technology basically help promote businesses. And so all the kinds of ways of using social networks can amplify business. And by the way, in that way, some businesses actually will reward the customers who do that. So I remember when I was at a gym, they actually had this thing that said that there was maybe a chance prize if you put your hashtag of that particular gym. There's maybe a chance of winning some prize. I don't know. I didn't know anybody who won it, and I certainly didn't win it. But the point is, you can do things to essentially like incentivize customers to promote your business. So some of the key concepts for e-commerce is that there is decreased information asymmetry. So asymmetry is just when things are not, when anything is not equal. So once things are online, information tends to be available to everybody, it tends to be. And so you're less likely to be not in the know as to what is happening. So let's see, what did I want out of there? So many things. So like if you want to buy anything, you want to buy a certain type of, but right now I want to buy ants. I have ants in my house. I want to buy some kind of ants, something little ants, because someone can tell me. I was told that it's something, and this morning I went to the place trying to buy the thing to kill ants, so instead I actually bought a vacuum cleaner, because I'm hoping that if I were to vacuum up where the ants are, that will work. But the reason I haven't gone to search is that my experience of searching online in Jamaica is that it doesn't tend to lead to solutions. But the point is, in general, if you do searching, it tends to like less waste of time. So you can just go ahead. And then since in general across the world, delivery tends to be less, the transaction cost of going online is less. You know, so cost less to do the transaction, cost less time to find the product that you want. So they generally tend to be reduced the gratification, since you can find the product faster usually. And the menu costs are less, meaning often you don't have the business doesn't have to print a menu in a store. Somebody has a comment. Oh, I could just use baking soda and sauce. Oh, that's a interesting idea. Thanks for the tip. Yeah. Oh, I guess that kills the ants. Right. So you can increase dynamic pricing. So in general, with a business, obviously the price is very important, not only for profits, but you want to find a way to balance demand and supply. So online, you can change the prices very easily without, like I said before, without actually having a printed menu. So if you want to figure out what is the best cost for you, the best price for your business, you can change the pricing over hours or days and see which one maximizes your profit. So that's very easy to do if it's online. Clearly, anybody who is doing the purchasing can discriminate and look at comparisons very easily. And there can be increased market segmentation. So you can have basically different kind of branding for similar kind of products. So as an example, let's give one example for me. So I've actually sold online weight loss coaching for real. What I have never sold, which we do sell, is online courses. Does the same thing, and then you can also sell a book that does the same thing. So online, it is fairly easy to sell a book, and then to sell a course that just reviews the course, and then to sell the online coaching. That's different market segments, because some people prefer and can afford a group coach. So could be an individual coach, a group coach, a online course where they get to watch videos, and then there's buying a book. That's basically segmenting the exact same market. I mean, it could be anything. It could be instead learning how to learning this class. So there's a difference between individual tutoring and group tutoring and watching videos after the fact. That if I mean, all of those things are just kind of textbook. And switching costs are less online, but it depends on the product. For some products, there actually is a cost. One of those examples would be online banking, because typically, if you want to switch, you actually do need to, like in Jamaica, submit a whole lot of things to prove that you are you before you can switch. So it depends, but most things online, switching costs are close to zero. But there's stronger network effects, so people will see in general, like for example, good customer reviews. People tend to buy into good customer reviews. So the network does have an impact on what's happening in the marketplace. And then there is more what is called disintermediation. We're about to break down that word. So let me just go to the next screen to show you what that is. So we all know about this kind of concept. So people manufacture goods. Let's just go with Nike shoes for a second. And they typically in the past, there used to be a distributor who then sold to a retailer and then to a customer. If you're not talking about Jamaica, there are probably a whole heap of in-between mediators. So with online, these things tend to be disappeared. So the manufacturer can sell straight to the customer. That's called disintermediation. Once you remove these layers, and clearly, as this example shows, we're talking about sweaters here, the price went from $48.50 to $40.34 to $20.45 when these mediators were removed. All right, so digital goods are any goods that are sold online, and clearly there are many. You know about music, video, software, newspaper, books, and the like. And the wonderful thing about digital goods is that the first unit, the second unit and beyond doesn't cost any more than the first unit, unless there's some exceptions where you realize that the first unit could be improved and then you decide to improve it. But outside of that, it's good. And so delivery on the internet is very low, and as such, it's really a matter of deciding what's the best pricing for each customer. And remember, customer segmentation is definitely possible online, where you can actually find ways to charge different prices for the same goods. It's a very interesting thing in the online world. And so digital goods are undergoing revolutionary changes over time, and examples I have here is music, where that revolution I think has already happened. But we have gone from, say, iTunes selling single songs, that's a long time now, so now music streaming online. There are a number of things that have happened in that area. So you all should know before this class, but maybe you don't, that in terms of e-commerce, so e-commerce and e-business are not the same. We're focusing on e-commerce today. So e-business is the bigger, broader concept. E-business is a concept that anything that we do via a network that involves a business is e-business. So e-commerce, which includes both selling of goods and collaboration. I'm not sure that's a comprehensive description, but e-commerce is where you sell things using a network. So there are three major types of e-commerce. Business to consumer is what most people think of. So for example, Amazon.com. Business to business, where you have, say, for example, let's take Jamaica, where a supermarket would decide to buy from Grace Kennedy to sell their products, business to business. And then there's consumer to consumer, like eBay, right? So those, and before we go any further, can anybody tell me which of these three are the largest? As in terms of volume, which of those three would you think is the largest in terms of money that is exchanged? Apparently these people can't talk. What's that?
Customer to customer?
No. That might be an interesting that might be an interesting idea. No.
Business to customer?
No. Think of Jamaica as an example. Does everybody that you know in, maybe not, this is not your friends in university. Does everybody that you know, as in everybody who's your family member, everybody in your neighborhood, everybody you know is currently doing B2C e-commerce or C2C e-commerce? I'm sure there can't be one person in this class who everybody they know is doing B to C or C to C. Is there anybody who think that everybody is like that? So Ricardo, tell me if you think that most businesses in Jamaica that you know are doing B2B. Because you B2B because that was not the only choice left. So that's the right answer, but I have a question. Are all, this was like Jamaica, are all or most businesses in Jamaica doing business to business? So I give an example of a supermarket. Without even investigating, I'm thinking that most supermarkets are doing business to business. But I'm back to my question. Do we all think that most businesses in Jamaica are doing business to business? Let me help you out. I am at the main campus. I'm at the main campus of UTEP right now, and I actually went and got the energy drink because I'm super tired. And I also have classes very late later. So I went to, I don't know what his name is, but I went to the front of UTEC and bought an energy drink from a man. So what do you think? You think he purchased his goods through business to business? What do you all think? I mean, I didn't ask him. What do you all think? No comment?
Yes, from business to business. So probably from like a wholesale.
Yeah, that's not business to business. Sorry. What do you guys don't understand about this? We're talking about online business. You think that the man came with this big thing? He went on the web, no matter which way, or on some other internet platform and ordered all of his products and then went and picked them up. That's what we mean by business. This is business to business e-commerce. Meaning, I haven't interviewed him, but I'm about 95% sure that he did. What do you think? You all follow me?
Yes, miss, you are follow me, but
Yeah,
I
man,
don't
so-
think I don't think you do all of that.
Right, that's my point. So my point is, just think about it. Even in Jamaica, even though we have quite a bit of business to business, it's not all business. I don't know. I have not collected the data, so I'm not giving the percentages. I'm just saying of these three, just if you think about it, the big businesses are doing business to business because they don't do it. It's way too inefficient. So all big businesses in Jamaica, all transactions they can do between businesses, they're doing it online. As in they're ordering their products online and picking them up. Yes? And certainly in Jamaica, business to consumer is going up because now people can not only do ends, they can order from the supermarket. Clearly, there's more people shopping from abroad since this pandemic. But I'm not sure where consumer to consumer is, but this is the order.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So let's think about it logically. Right. So moving on. So there are lots of different business models for
Consumer would be like an auction,
Come again?
like an auction site or something like that. Would that be consumer to consumer?
An action what?
Auction. Like
Oh,
people
yeah, like right. So if it is that, I don't know what you're auctioning, but if we wanted to auction, what do you want to auction? Yeah, online
They
auctions.
have brand name clothes that they wear and they want to sell it.
You have to say online auction because their auctions are not auction.
Right.
So without saying that, I don't know what you mean because literally, across the world, in case you all don't know, lots of art is sold in auctions, and I don't know if those are also now online as well, but people are still doing auctions in person. I don't know if those are, sorry, in case you don't know, I don't art that's worth billions. Maybe now they also entertain online as well, but I know that people are going to buy art. Before the pandemic, were going in person to buy the art. And certainly online auctions would be one of the examples, definitely. Something simple, which I don't know why you tech students don't do, is, I mean, I do know why. I was going to say sell textbooks to each other. Yeah, because they don't buy them. That's just rubbing it in. Sorry, that's one thing that people did a lot when I was in the US. Crazy people like me actually bought every single textbook, and I tended to try to see if I could sell it to another student because the bookstore will buy it back from you, but they bought it back from you from like less than 10%. And so I thought, this is a crazy ripoff. So I would try to see if I could find any other student either give it to or to sell it to, because for obvious reasons. Yeah. So there are a number of e-commerce business models. So the the long time one is a portal, like where somebody has a portal selling a list of products. There is the e-tailer, that is just like a retailer selling a number of items. There is a content provider, somebody who provides content and makes money either through ads or by some kind of subscription model. There's somebody who's a transaction broker, and per transaction they make money. I think in a sense, equivalent of the stock market right now, because the stockbroker actually makes money per transaction. So I think the Jamaica Stock Exchange, you actually have a choice. You can actually do the thing online or use another method. And if you do it online, it's actually a lesser fee, but it's per transaction. There are people who actually create new markets and they make money that way. There are people, as in products, there are people who provide services. Like I just gave an example of me coaching people to lose weight because I've lost weight and I have experience. And then there are people who make social networks, and we certainly know a whole lot of social networking sites, and they make lots of money through what they do. Right, and then revenue models include advertising, sales, subscription. There is the people who use it initially for free, and then after a while, you're required to do freemium, like a newspaper would be something like that. I see a lot of newspapers that I try to read online that they have, two to five articles per month. Then they tell you must pay this amount of money. And then you have transaction fees and affiliates. Affiliates are where, like Amazon has this as an example. You can be an affiliate where on your website, you could link to some Amazon products and then they give you a cut of the money. So social networks are increasingly important for e-commerce. So people, I don't know, I'm still not doing it myself, but people are actually shopping on social networks. Anybody here shopping on social networks? I don't know, I just don't see why I've been shopping ever on social networks, but I'm not.
Yes, miss.
You're shopping? Can you stop calling me that? My name is Muir. Sam, teach. You're shopping? Is that in Jamaica or you're shopping abroad? Because if you're shopping in Jamaica, I'm like, what's that? On delivery? Because I'm also wondering in Jamaica, how would the shopping work? Because we don't have good delivery system. So I was wondering how that works. In Jamaica, so then how does the delivery of the product? This product, not service, right?
Product, and they tell you
Of
that
course.
delivery is done on a specific day.
So you're using the product. So are you paying on delivery or you're paying in advance? Oh, that's what. Yeah, man, that's what is reliable. And you pay in advance or you pay on delivery?
Depends on the product, because some will ask you to do like a transfer, bank transfer.
You guys are trusting. I will be sending somebody I don't know money in advance, and then what happened when disappear?
Miss, I use Mailpack, miss. Mailpack is reliable and it is really efficient.
Yeah, but that's not in Jamaica. Though.
It's a
that's
bit
not in
expensive.
Jamaica. That's abroad.
It's a bit.
That's abroad.
Yes, miss. It's in Jamaica, miss.
No, you're ordering things abroad.
I mean, yes, miss. I ordering it abroad.
That's what I was asking.
Like,
You're not answering my questions. I was asking about people who are buying in Jamaica through social media. That's not even social media at all. So you're gone to a different topic. You've gone south of where we are.
No, miss,
yes,
because when you say social media, miss, it's like social shopping is.
No, this is social networking. We can go back to where we were before. We were on that. I'm really assuming that many people here are doing using e-tailers or portals. So I wasn't asking that. I was asking about social networks. So social networks is not websites. Yeah, man. So, but apparently some people are yeah, some people are doing it. No problem. I'm just wondering which sites. So what social media sites you're using? Because I see people on TV, for example, they come on and then they have only an Instagram link, and I find that even interesting. The only way they can look at is Instagram. They don't even tell you what their phone number is. So a lot of people don't.
Because they want the followers, so they send it to the page to look.
They want the followers. Looking at the Instagram doesn't mean that you're following somebody. Anyway, whatever. It were some people other than me. So I saw somebody who I know that their product was actually probably very expensive, and I was interested. And once they never even told me I use Facebook. Once they never even told me a website or a Facebook page or something. And I just said next, moving on. I just said next. I'm like, I have to have an Instagram now. I'm like, no interest. I'm like, wow. Like to me, do you know that business must have websites? It's still just even one page if you're serious. Because how then do you tell that the person he can disappear? Instagram, as in the company called Facebook that owns WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook, is not a platform that you can rely on. That you know where to find the person. It's just a front. So nothing wrong with that as a front to your website. But the thing should then now link to your website, where you can now say, yeah, this is the business that I've registered, this is my business address. Yeah, I'm like, anyway, you young people are trusting. That's all I have to say.
Excuse me, miss.
Yes.
For me, miss, I sell beats online, and I do market
Beats?
my
What
stuff
kind of
through
beats?
Instagram.
What do you mean beats? You mean music?
Miss. Rhythm. Yes, ma'am.
It's not. I mean,
So repeat, miss.
Stop calling me MISS. So you market beats online and people are buying them for what? A party?
Miss, they buy it for miss. What should I call you then if I
I
shouldn't
told
use
you,
miss?
teach, prof. You don't have to call me anything. Teach. Teachers go teach.
All right, teach. Okay, teach. So for example, miss, when I say trusting, it is a problem with me, for to be honest, because it's like sometimes people don't know that it is legit. Sometimes they think that it's not secure. Like when they pay for a beat, they don't think that they get it immediately. So I have to do a lot of explanation. So I do understand where you're coming from with
Right, this is why you need to
what
register your
young people are
business.
trusted.
You need to register your
No, but it
business
is
and you
registered.
need to have a website. So why don't you have a
Yeah.
website?
I do have a website, miss, but that's the thing. They don't
you
think
do?
I have a website. Yes, miss. So I have to
Because you're
link the
not
website
marketing.
through.
But you're not marketing the website. So it's all about
I
how
market
you. Oh, you do?
Yes, miss. I market it through Instagram, as I said before.
Oh, I see.
So I would say the products that are on my website are also on Instagram. So it's like they're advertised on
Wait, are you
Instagram
the one
and they'll.
in my tutorial who was supposed to show the beat from the first week and don't show it all now? That's you?
Oh no, miss. No, miss.
Oh, sorry. I was in a class in FIS the first week and somebody said that they, I'm not joking, somebody said that they, oh, that's Zachary. Oh, so I have more than one person in FIS who's into music production. Wow. And all know Zachary said he was going to show us an example. I told him I'll give him 30 seconds and all know. Interesting. Yeah, so anyway, obviously, like since even in this class, we have at least one person who's actually using social networks to actually market his business. Clearly, this is a trend. I mean, even as I show you, I use Facebook and I was literally I actually made a business through using Facebook, and then I used Zoom way before the pandemic to do the business, like literally providing a service. But moving on. So we all know that this is definitely something that you can use to get e-commerce. I'm just saying that you need to think through how you do the process. Now, people actually tend to trust crowds. So I would suggest, I don't know how you do it, if you can get testimonials or ratings for your beats or whatever, that would help a lot if possible. So So anyway, you can get it on the social network. This stuff we were talking before. That would be helpful. That's a big point here on the Wizard of Crowds, because basically, once you're on social network, people tend to believe that it's very unlikely that the crowd is wrong. In fact, even if they're wrong.
Yes, miss.
Even if they're wrong.
So miss, for example, miss, if on so people that do what I do, so let's say somebody big or somebody that's really notable in the music industry, we normally post our credits. So I have a decent amount of credits and I would just post them on my my Instagram. So when they see it, they'll be like, okay, this guy is legit.
What's that credit?
So like for example, for me it's like Chronic Law and 450.
Okay.
Those are the two artists that I work with like now and then, frequently with 450, but like they are like really popular.
Yeah, man.
So
but that's still not getting to
people.
Oh, the reason of course getting that is really about an influencer, which is not on the screen right now.
Yes, I mean
not really influencers because they're popular.
Yes.
If they give you, I guess, kind of cred in some way, then you can use that to essentially enhance your marketability.
Yes, miss. So it's basically as tied in with the wisdom of crowds, because people know about them. So if they know about them and they are attached to me,
I'm going to disagree with you. That's not wisdom of crowds. Wisdom of crowds.
That's not wisdom of crowds?
No, listen to me carefully. That's important though. Wisdom of crowds is the idea that I don't know how much people you are who are buying your beats. I have no idea, because I mean this is not something I can even imagine ever doing. But I have no idea. But so let's go to something I have some idea of. Let's just go to songs. If people buy songs, right? I guess they the songs. I don't know. People buy songs at the end of it, like when the songs get a rating or books or products. Let's go to something simple, like a cell phone. The point is, we have lots of cell phones. If you look online and see the rating, every single digital product I buy that is over 100 US, I am always going to be looking to see the expert review and the user reviews, because of wisdom of crowds. I'm looking at both types. So I am using wisdom of crowds because once there are reviews, it's likely that the reviews, and I go deep into wisdom of crowds. I not only look at the stars, I look at more than one site. I even start to read what they say. And I go to wisdom of crowds because I also go to my own wisdom. I even read what the people are saying. But some people don't want to go that far. They just go say, okay, this thing had 100 people rate it and it's 4.5 out of 5. Yeah, I can buy it. Bryce is right. That's wisdom of crowds.
Oh, so miss, that's what I'm saying with the credits, miss. So it's basically the same in our world. A review in the as you said before, as it relates to reviews and that people have certain standing in the music industry. As I said before, is that's basically a review, because those artists are not going to just take.
I'm gonna call that expert reviews. So it's
expert reviews.
Yeah, I'm gonna call that expert reviews because the music professionals would be the experts. So when you have more experts say it's good, then you're going to get people are going to believe you. And then if you also have like the basic user base who say, yeah man, what's your name, sir? What's your name?
Oh, Iconic. My name is Leon, but I'm known as Iconic.
Known as what?
Iconics.
It's got to Leon. Iconics. What a madness. The other day, Knowledge was by my house because he was visiting somebody, and I went to Portland and he was there again. It was funny. You guys don't know all these names. The man, he renamed himself Knowledge, Anyway, but back to the story. So you on this Iconic something. You don't want to be separate from Chronics.
You
follow fashion, man. Back to my story.
No,
Leon,
like
stop calling me miss. Leon.
Oh, teach. I'm
sorry. Leon. Want to move on. But Leon, the whole point is the wisdom of crowds is both that the experts in the area, which in this case would be like, I guess the music producers and the music professionals or whatever kind, as well as the people who buy the stuff. Those are both different types of crowds. More of them that say, you're good, and you're more likely to do well in the business world. That's where I'm just saying you are focusing only on what I want to call the experts. So it's both
Okay.
it's both sets, right?
Oh,
and then in general, if you want to make a decision, you can actually, as you all know, you can actually go on and ask people a question. So already in this class, when I mentioned that I have a problem with ants, I already have somebody I can go right on to Quora and say, how do I get rid of ants? And I'm going to get even much more information. So in general, with e-commerce, and so that's good because maybe buying baking soda and salt is a cheaper way to solve my problem and what I was planning to do. And the point is, those kind of things also leads to business, right? So all of that is helpful. And then when people actually track this data, you can actually figure out a way to have better markets for specific outcomes. You know, so for example, maybe there's a different kind of beat for, let's start with females and males. I have no idea. I'm just getting on. And the point is, obviously for different age groups, for different kinds of situations, I don't know anything just to know that. But once you have e-commerce happening, if you track that data, you're actually able to figure out your market better. Usually, even though, think about it, if you go into a supermarket, you know, they're doing a lot of tracking, even when they're not doing e-commerce. So they ask you, will you have a customer card? You know why they do that? They're asking for a customer card so they can get as much information about you. And part of it is not just to give you a discount, it's so they can track the pattern of those people that they got some data about you, and then they track, because they're thinking that they can use that data across the world to basically see how to market to you. So, and you can do that so much better in e-commerce because that data is being collected once you make a purchase. Meaning, if you're smart about it. You know, so for example, like, I don't know how it works for beats, but if it is that you can get some basic data about people, I can go back to my brother. He used to be a DJ a long time ago at parties. He would collect data. I remember one time he asked me, he wanted just to send to people in Kingston 6 and Kingston 10. And when I looked at his database, this is decades ago, his database did not separate the field by the street address and the what do you call it, the Kingston unit. And so I said, but to do that, the amount of work you would need to do that. But these days, databases are well designed that it would be easy to do that kind of data mining. But all of that is very important in terms of e-commerce success. So in terms of e-marketing, look at the time. Time must be passing. Yeah, it's past the time. We have a situation where one way to get a lot of e-commerce done is through something called long-tail marketing. So in long-tail marketing, we're able to reach a large audience inexpensively. So in the past, people only sold to customers that there are many people who wanted that product. The best example I have for long-tail marketing is there was, maybe I should go for next week because we're so out of time. Should I end? Because we're actually almost finished, but we're actually out of time. Let's give this one example and end there. So long-term marketing, the example I like is there was a book that was out of print and somebody had a new book that was about, they almost died. Like, you know, they went on this adventure and they almost died. And apparently the book was well written and people just, the books had a lot of sales. And then people were searching for books that were like that. And maybe somebody recommended that this book that they knew was good. And the book that was out of print not only came back on the market through online sales, it became a big hit because some people wanted to read about near life misses. The other books that were like that became popular for a short time. So there is more and more a market for small niches to reach a lot of people. So if there are people across the world who want beats by a young Jamaican that I don't know what it does because I have not heard your beats, there's a possibility of not just marketing in the marketing you're doing right now. You have to figure out, is there a way that you can market beyond the local space? You still there, Leon?
Oh yes, Miss, I am.
So this is a whole, sorry, most people don't call this long-term as a fancy name for it, but there really is there's an opportunity across the whole globe to find audiences across the globe that might be interested in you. You know, like
True,
for
miss.
example, yeah. So for example, Japanese people tend to like Jamaican music. I have no idea how your beats might be interesting to Japanese people, but as an example, it is, can you find a way to market it so that the Japanese people who like Jamaican sports and Jamaican music, can they find you and buy your beats, not just Jamaicans? I have no idea. I'm just giving an example.
Miss, I understand where you're going, but I do practice some type of long tail marketing, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And then we can track what people are doing on websites so that we can see if we can change their behavior. And there are so many ways of internet advertising formats, display ads, rich media, email. Anyway, we're going to end it there for today because there's some more things that I can advance the time. But we started late, and that's it for right now. Hopefully this was of some value. I will see you all next week. People who just joined today, we had put the WhatsApp chat in the group. Let me put it in again. If you're still here. So I'm not on the WhatsApp, so so please don't ask me about the WhatsApp. This is the WhatsApp. Hold on, I'm just putting several things. Apart from the people from the community college who I didn't have good reasons to just be joining today, if you're like that. Everybody else who's in a regular main campus, I want to know, why was this your first week? These are my email addresses. Anybody, if you need to talk to me, skid papers at Gmail, esmir at utech. My consultation, give me one second, this. Here we go. My consultation link for Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays is right here. Everyone in the meeting. This is my consultation link, and it is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I need to have it copied so I don't have to be looking up every time. But in case anybody's interested, it is calendar. It is and I want to put it in the chat. So it is Monday 7:30 to 8, Tuesday 3:30 to 4:30, and Wednesday 10:30 to 11, and by appointment. What's the question?
Oh, miss, it was about is there like a number that we can call you?
A number? Yeah, you take 876-927-1680. Leon. Since you're making all that money selling beats and sorry, so Chronix is okay with you calling yourself iChronix?
But it's not iChronix, it's ICONIX, miss.
Icon X.
Yes, iChronix, basically.
Oh, there. Icon. Oh, somebody's in the waiting room. So Iconix.
Yes, miss.
Anyway, so Icon X. My word.
Yes,
so Leon, sorry to laugh after your
no, miss, it's okay.
Your
it's
name
okay.
is just I think I'm too old for these. Like, sorry, maybe you members in the class is like, yeah man, this is cool. I don't know. So Icon X. Sorry, Leon.
Yes, miss.
Leon. Until you give me a phone, it's 927-1680 extension. I have to hear at work right now. 3644. I'm here usually 5 days a week.
Okay,
really?
All right, miss. All right, so I guess I'll just go through email.
So Matthew thinks I'm being funny. Being funny, Matthew. Sorry, Matthew put dying with laughter. Sorry, I've said it about 2 years now. Anytime a student or group of students want to give me a phone, notice, and I accept. I think one promise you're going to accept. So Fillmore look like him rich, or Joshua look like one of the two of you look like you have money. Sorry, Leon, I have no idea. So Joshua and Fillmore look like they could have money one day soon. Am I wrong? Who knows? But the point is, if you even offer me, I think most of you are taking a photo of you. Yeah, man, I answer phones at work. Yes, Leah, we can talk. There's a wonderful thing called Zoom. Sorry, if I'm not busy and you, if I'm not busy and you click on the consultation link, I'll just join it. There's a consultation link.
Oh, okay, miss. Sure, no problem. Then.
What remember I gave for position time. So anyway, so guys, I'm gonna run have another class in less than an hour. Have a
All right.
good evening. Take care now.
Yes, miss. Same to you. Enjoy your day.
Bye.